Subway workers of Reddit, what's the grossest sandwich you've seen or had to make? When I worked at Subway there was a family that came in, the parents and their 2 sons. They would always order meatball footlongs and want all the veggies twice. You could never pack on enough lettuce either. You couldn't cut the dang thing. Good luck trying to smash it down enough to even wrap. That times 4 every time they came in, plus a ton of mayo. We used to do rock paper scissors in the back to see who had to deal with them. The guy had some kind of intellectual disability or something. He ordered a footlong meatball sub with extra marinara and extra every other sauce, which at the time would have been yellow mustard, brown mustard, ranch, chipotle, light mayo, regular mayo, yes, both, and sweet onion. He had a companion with him who kept asking him, "Are you sure you want all that? That doesn't sound like it will taste very good, are you sure?" But he was not deterred. The companion came back up to me later to thank me and let me know he ate the entire thing and loved it. This mom and her kid would come into my store every Wednesday, and after the mom ordered something normal, the kid, who would always order himself, would ask for a plain sandwich. The first time I had to ask, but after that, every Wednesday when I saw them walking up I'd start working on that little guy's toasted bread and ketchup sandwich. Super gross sandwich order, but those 2 customers were always a bright spot in my week. Double salami and pretty much all the oregano in the house. No cheese, no sauce, no shame. Behold the power of an old Italian man's soul. Only mayonnaise, toasted. It wasn't the grossest sandwich, it was just the way she ate it. Tuna with ketchup. She then removed her false teeth, licked the tuna out and left the bread for us to clean up. My old boss took a trip to Hawaii to surf, rented a Jeep and ordered enough $5 footlongs to last the week. That's all he ate all week apparently. Stored them in the Jeep. No cooler, no refrigeration. All of those sandwiches were gross after a week in Hawaii temperatures. I don't know if they still do the seafood salad sandwich, but when I was a teenager I had to prep that crap in the morning. It's a 5-pound bag of imitation crab and a gallon bag of mayonnaise, mixed with my gloved hands. The smell and texture was awful. Anyways, had an elderly gentleman come in on my Saturday shifts and get the seafood salad footlong, double meat with shredded cheese. Toasted. Old guy tipped $1 every time. Some lady asked me to scoop out all of the bread, leaving just the crusty shell, and fill it with mayonnaise. It was like a disgusting cream puff. It is time for this story to be told. When I was a stupid high school boy, my buddy Rob and I used to go to the same Subway at least a couple of times a week. There were 2 workers there, Mary and Roland, and whenever they transferred, we'd follow them to some other Subway, because they were nice to us and sometimes gave us deals. One day I went in there and said, "Roland, I bet you can't make me a sub that I can't eat." Roland goes in the back and comes back with 2 big freaking slabs of processed turkey. When you order a normal sub, that turkey is all sliced up. This was not sliced. It was just a goddamn brick of meat about 1.5 inches thick. He loaded it up with all the regular toppings, no screaming hot sauce or anything, and said, "There you go." Stupid high school boy me thought, this fool doesn't know who he's dealing with. I ask for an edible, and he gives me extra meat. 10 minutes and this thing is down the belly hatch. But a strange thing happens when you have to chew large portions of processed meat for a long time. You realize why they slice it up like that. It's because it's full of big disgusting chunks of gristle, blobs of fat, probably a beak or 2, whatever made it into the turkey blender before it was pressed into a can. I can't remember whether I puked. Stupid high school boys puke a lot, but I do remember that I didn't even finish 6 inches of that sucker. God bless Roland, wherever he ended up. Not only did he win the bet, he made a sandwich that still haunts my dreams 25 years later. Okay, check it. Dude comes in like he's never been to a Subway before, which that's okay. I'm ready to help, but he also acts like he has never had nor heard of a sandwich before. He gets the honey oat footlong, and that is where the logic stops. This joker asks what's good, and I tell him that I like the meatball marinara. He gets that, with extra marinara mind you, and before I can even ask him about his cheese choice, he points to the tuna and asks CWW, "What's that?" I tell him what it is. He takes a good minute to think, and then he's like, "Okay, I'll get that too." I pause for a second trying to process what he is asking me. Let me tell you, I take the title sandwich artist seriously, and I did not feel like an artist while spreading pasty tuna onto a marinara soaked honey oat loaf. I felt dirty, so to follow this nutball's train of logic, he has me extra toasted without cheese. Take it out, and he says two words that shook me to my core. Honey mustard. I am an honest man. I like to think. A good man if I'm being generous, but I cannot think that any god wouldn't make me suffer for helping craft this abomination. I squeeze the bottle and give him 3 thick lines of that tangy god sauce. He says more. I give him more. I close it with an audible squelch emitting from the sub. I wrap it up, and when I look up to accept his money I see his face. I see the excitement of a child about to go on a roller coaster for the first time. The guy's giddy, practically electrified with glee. I give him his foot-long effigy to sin incarnate. He leaves the store, and I go in the back to slice bell peppers and try to forget. Meatballs, teriyaki chicken, and salsa with all the salad and all the sauces. No, he wasn't high and he ordered it like 3 more times. When I worked at Panera, a customer once ordered a tuna salad sandwich on a chocolate chip bagel. For breakfast, egg whites, American and shredded cheddar, a double portion of seafood salad, toasted, oil, no vinegar. It's healthy because egg whites. Had a few people that would order a double meat tuna sub and then want a ton of mayo added to it. Those sandwiches were already half mayo to begin with. I felt fatter just touching the thing. Also, another store under the same owner would regularly get people wanting cookies added to their subs. I'm pretty sure I was told the reasoning was that they thought it would count as a topping so they wouldn't have to pay for the cookies. Not an artist, but was in line behind a guy. He got a chicken bacon ranch, double meat and cheese. Nothing weird yet. No toppings. Whatever. A lot of meat and cheese. All the sauces. WTF. The Subway gal put a little line of each one on. Not good enough. We wanted to drench in every sauce. He got a faint blob for each sauce plus had them add marinara. When they tried to close the sandwich and cut it, it was oozing. He grabs it and sits down, basically slurping the fricking thing. I was planning on eating there but just couldn't. Got it to go and got the frick out of there. One of the grossest things I have ever seen. There was this guy that I think was messing with me and the other girl there, but he ordered a foot-long wheat bread with every flavor of cheese we had on it along with every condiment we had. Then the man used a ketchup bottle he brought himself and used it all. His friends recorded him eating it and I feel sick remembering it. Obligatory. I don't work at Subway but I do work at a place that serves subs. Had an order a while back for a chicken finger sub with hot sauce, tuna, pickles, and double mayo. Felt like I was preparing for a reckless eating video. They were hungover. This lady would come in every day and ask for a 6-inch honey oat and made it very apparent that she wanted the bread soft. She had me put triple American cheese on it and 3 tomatoes, and an ungodly amount of mayonnaise on it. That's it. Made me cringe watching her eat it. Hated that lady. Pickles, seafood salad, corn, bacon bits, olives, sauerkraut, barbecue sauce. What on earth are you thinking, mate? Not Subway, but in high school I worked at Hoji Yogi, which does sandwiches and teriyaki bowls. I had a teenage girl come in and ask if I could make a foot-long pickle sandwich. So I took a small handful of pickles and spread them out over the bread. Can I have more, she asked. I took another, slightly larger handful of pickles and spread them over the bread. Can I have more, she asked again. I dug into the bin with both hands and spread 2 heaping piles of pickles across the bread, which was now soaking in vinegar. Is that enough, I asked. I thought I was calling her bluff. Yeah, that's good. I folded the sandwich down as best I could. The pickles were stacked too high. I rang her up for a veggie sandwich, watched her take it to her table, and sit down to eat the whole thing. The bread was dark and soggy. Any pickles that fell out she was quick to scoop up. It was gross, but fascinating at the same time. Here's a few I can remember. This obese guy would walk in a couple times a week. Take the cold cut combo. He asks for a ton of lettuce followed by the largest amount of mayonnaise you can imagine. He always emptied half the cup of mayo. It was probably more than enough mayo for 12-15 average customers. He then added a few other vegetables and was good to go. It always made me sick making him such a sandwich as I knew I was killing him. Then, I've seen two normal looking persons take every single sauce on the menu, not like a very thin line or anything, extra dosage of every sauce while looking at me to make sure I put enough of each. At Subway, you can ask to grill vegetables with your bread cheese meat. I always grilled onions and peppers with mine for the flavor. Multiple people were doing this. Then this guy walks in and asks me to grill his sub at the complete end after asking for lettuce, pickles and sauce on it. This guy ordered a wrap with 8 portions of bacon and 2 portions of steak. Cheese over the entire thing. No vegetables and toasted. Yup, a toasted wrap. Footlong Subway Club. I think double meat. Wanted extra cheese X4 so they could have every single type of cheese on it. Every single vegetable. Every sauce. And I mean every sauce. Even mayo and light mayo together. Olive oil. Vinegar. Salt and pepper. Oregano. Parmesan cheese. Not only was it disgusting, but it was a pain to actually wrap the thing up. I once had to make someone a black olive sandwich. Like 3 handfuls of only black olive on Italian bread with extra olive juice. I ordered that once. I was 6 and it was my first time at Subway, so I panicked and refused anything other than black olives. This is hands down the worst sandwich I ever made. Dude comes in, orders a 6-inch cold cut, white bread. As I'm cutting the bread, he asks for mayo on both sides before the meat. So I do the old back and forth, both sides. He looks at me and says, "Not enough, man. I want like an inch on both sides." I used about a half bottle of mayo on that sandwich, put the meat on and closed it up. He told me at the till that he lets it sit in the fridge for 3 days before he eats it. I worked at a sub shop in AZ and this wasn't really gross, just peculiar. A girl would come in every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday and order a 16 inches sub with all the white cheese, except yellow, and a 16-inch sub with 4 orders of bacon and no bread. I thought she was joking when she first came in, but I was subsequently reprimanded by the supervisor for laughing. Meatballs, extra tuna. I was very new at the time, so I didn't realize till I got to the till that such a monstrosity isn't on the menu. I had this one guy that would come in frequently and ask for what he referred to as a salty sardine surprise, which was Italian bread with both sides totally covered in salt, with an entire can of sardines between them. We used to get into a lot of fights over the sardines, since we didn't have them. But one day I bought a can of sardines just to take him by surprise. He didn't react in the slightest when I made the sandwich. The next day I go to my cousin's deli and he tells me the same guy came in that morning ranting about the best salty surprise I ever had. Goddammit it. Reverse. My friend used to work at a chain sub shop, and I love mayo. To frick with him, I would always just ask for unreasonable amounts of mayonnaise on my stuff, cause he thinks it's gross. He was about to ship out to the military, so before he left, I had him make me a meatball sub, but with no red sauce. All the red sauce had to be replaced with mayonnaise. He cringed. I ate it. It was a good day. A lady in front of me orders a salad. So far so good. Nothing to worry about. Then she says she would like it plain. The worker asks what she would like on her salad. She doesn't want lettuce, onions or spinach. She orders 1 slice of ham in the middle of the plastic bowl. Then she asks for pickles. The worker puts a handful on, but the lady wants more. I'm perplexed and line behind her, and it's starting to get hard to keep a straight face. The worker piles on another 2 full handfuls of pickles on. The lady pipes up, "Can I just get a little more?" The worker gives her a wary eye but submits and adds 1 final handful to her bowl. She proceeds to pay, her final order being 1 slice of ham and the remainder of the bowl filled with pickles. Used to work at a sub shop local to New England, and this guy used to come in and have us scrape the grill with this blade that got the burnt meat and cheese off the grill. He would then have us top his steak and cheese with that crust. He would say it's all flavor. Dude comes into my work every so often for a flatbread footlong, 1 egg white and 1 egg yellow, add double meat tuna, toasted and nothing else. I do not work, nor have ever worked at a Subway. However, I was the main instigator in what I deem one of the most memorable sandwiches of my life. It was in my late teens and with a bunch of mates. I was last in queue behind them, and with something to prove I decided to go the whole hog and more. The poor girl behind the counter asked what I wanted. Footlong, Italian herbs and cheese. She brought over the sad looking baguette and asked what filling I was after. All meats, no fish. I thought I was prepared for it, but my god, there were a lot of meats that I was not aware of. Meatballs, chicken fillet, pork riblet, salami etc. I was ready for, but it just kept coming. Shaved meats, diced meats, poultry, lamb, cow in more ways than I could imagine. It ended up being so full she couldn't close it. I topped with a proportionally pitiful mayonnaise and barbecue sauce. It ended up being around $50 NZ. One of the worst things I think I've ever done, in more ways than one. However, I do not regret it. I am now a vegan. My quota was reached. We had a guy who ordered the seafood, gross in its own right, and would then ask for black pepper. He would then say, "Put pepper on until I say stop." He would let you shake on pepper for a good 15-30 seconds. The sub was just a pile of mayo and soot. Surprised I never sneezed. Maybe that's what he wanted. I worked at Jimmy John's, but there's one dude would order a gargantuan, which is all the meats but bacon, no veggies, extra mayo and bacon like every day. I'm honestly expected him to just drop dead of a heart attack one day after eating one of those bad boys. Not a Subway worker, but ordered enough weird sandwiches to be, rightfully, judged. My brother and I used to have this ongoing competition where we would order the grossest sandwiches and see who could actually eat the most of it. Whoever ate the least had to pay for both sandwiches the next time we came to Subway. The grossest sandwich I ever ordered was a foot long with that weird artificial fish and mayo stuff, spinach, olives, tomatoes, bacon, avocado, honey mustard and barbecue sauce. To be honest, it was actually pretty good despite the texture, so I won that competition. I worked in NW, Iowa. Very agricultural. Lots of cold cut trio on white bread with a crap ton of mayo, and that's it. I hated making it. I did not graduate from the Art Academy of Subway sandwiches to unwrap turkey plastic and splodge mayo up and down the block. You have been visited by the hangover papa. Comment, do a recover. Papa and you will never suffer from hangover again. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day, you magnificent people.